Hello everyone, how you doing today? Thought I would get a video out showing a bunch of Helios modules and other creations to support Helios modules that are out so far. And I've seen there it looked like there's some other stuff getting built yet, so sounds like there is more to come, and it's possible I might do another module myself too. Um, I'm not exactly sure on which one I was thinking about or what type I was trying to accomplish, but one idea I did have was doing like a starter CV that's actually in a module form. If you were planning on like getting like the Helios or other creations that support the modules later on, you'd kind of hit the ground running because your first CV, which would be a lower price one, would actually be able to dock and work with the stuff you would get later in game. So I thought that might be a neat idea. Um, to those of you that don't know much about the Helios and what it's about, basically this was a concoction that when I was doing the first season of Let's Play with Excalibur, um, we we basically we started spawning in a lot of stuff, and it was we had like a couple, combat CVs and SVs and HVs and this and that. And we were like we would put in a space station at one place, and then we would like fly away from that. We'd put in like another space station somewhere else, and then we were kind of tethered to those space stations. And if you navigate around the galaxy map, if you're a fair distance away from where you were, you kind of you have to go back there, to drop off your stuff. And it was just kind of we were having a huge problem trying to like get around and move around with like everything that we had. And or we would just go on like smaller trips with a CV and link up other things to the CV that weren't, wasn't made for it, so it looked really kind of funky. Um, and basically, it was just problematic. So I wanted to find a solution for like moving everything, and that's kind of where this Helios thing came from. Basically, first thing I wanted a very large surface area carrier, so you could dock like any kind of CV on here, or multiple CVs on here, depending on their size and everything. But yeah, you can get quite a bit on here. But then when I started building it, a suggestion came up about modules. Well, what if it had like module bays and you could dock different ships in here, and then you'd have all the function of those, and you can get them when you want them and which ones you want. And I thought like that was an excellent idea. So I went with that, with the completing the design of the Helios, and I gave it these four module bays. So a couple on each side plus a special module bay on the back, which is a dropship module, which is has two different characteristics than the other bays, and that is it's a little bit bigger, not by a lot, but a little bit bigger, and it directly links up to this central corridor that goes through the Helios for loading like HVs and SVs into it, which is pretty easy. Now you could technically do that on some of these bays, but the doors are quite small. It's a little awkward. You'd have to have like small vehicles and stuff to get through there and actually make it work. So that's where the five primary module bays came from. Now, in the design, I had these other spaces between these bays here, and a lot of this was just cosmetic. And then later on, I thought, well, what if there was deployable sentry turrets or something that could mount on these locations and then kind of back away? Now, I still think my design there is definitely flawed. And I kind of regret now having these bays on here, and I kind of wish I would have just went with 6 standard module bays, which actually some people have been doing some copy paste work and making that work. In fact, the ship we're actually using in season 2 in gameplay was modified, I believe, by Garaman, and it's where that exactly was done. It's got 6 module bays, and these parts here were cut out. But believe it or not, at the end, it comes out to the exact, I believe, the exact same ship size and everything, because 2 of these basically equals 1 of these in space. So it works out pretty good. And I kind of now I don't want to modify the Helios creations that are out there, because also there are modules made for these side bays, defense modules and things like that. So I don't want to change the initial ship, but I wouldn't mind seeing if someone like Airman, if he wanted to put out like the official 6-bay Helios, I'd throw that in the collection and everything, and people can start using that. I also heard rumors of an 8-bay version, and then I heard rumors of a double-decker version. I don't know how that plays out yet, but interesting to see it sometime. But that's what this is about. So basically, you have all these modules. The ship itself has a front hangar in it, then it has a crew area. Your cockpit has a very small little crafting section right built into the cockpit, with a couple small constructors, one advanced constructors, and 320K, well, a couple 320K storage bins there. Couple of passenger seats. Upstairs on the ship, I mean, this has been on the workshop for a while, so I'm sure you guys seen it, but upstairs on the ship you have like a little crew area and a little more crew area, and then a room over here which is a core room, which is basically for all your different CPU cores and whatnot. Now the ship was made so you could get it in working in the game without the use of quantum cores in Reforged Eden or any additional CPU increasing methods. However, it's really set up to have a lot more thrust power on it, which takes up a lot of CPU quickly, as well as more generators. So on the Reforged Eden version, it comes stock with 4XL forward thrusters. Now these are your probably most important thrusters on a ship like this, to take all that weight of everything that's stocked on here, plus all the modules, and move them. So to fully utilize everything on the ship, it does need several quantum cores or things to increase the CPU, basically so you can add in a couple of the big generators and a lot more rear thrusters. But it also has spots to increase the strafing thrust. On the front and back, there's a couple more like large thruster positions over here. If you wanted to take this down to planet, stock it only comes with 2XL lift thrusters, but you can add in an additional 4. So one would go there, and then again on the front side over here, there's another spot for more XL lift thrusters. But that's where all the CPU goes on a ship like this. None of it really was for increased defense or anything like that. It's just about making the ship move better with a heavy weight. So that's what this is all about. And there's two versions of the ship. One is for Reforged Eden, and that's one I've got spawned here. The other is for Vanilla. And Vanilla comes stock with more thrusters, but then you can't really upgrade it much. So anyway, I wanted to go through and show all these different modules and kind of what they're about, what they're doing, what types they are, and who made them. So to start with, I made 3 modules so far. I made one, this Helios P module is what this one is called. I had a little trouble with my naming scheme. I wasn't exactly sure how I wanted things named, and a bunch of different authors were making different stuff with their own names, and it's like, didn't really establish like any kind of naming standard. So what's been going on now is there's a collection, and every module or creation that is module supporting, I've been adding that to the collection so people can find them a little bit easier. It's called the Helios-MSC Module collection on Steam Workshop. So that's currently has all the listings of all the known modules. In fact, I am missing a module that I just grabbed before this video by Alicia, who made a lot of modules, very cool modules too. But there's another one here that I better get in, and let me find that. It was the Helios. It's more of a combat module, which is really cool. Let's see, Helios, this one here. Let me get that spawned in. it's the ham. Now all these are abbreviations of what these modules are about. It's just it's interesting when you look at the letters there. It's the ham. But look at this. Look at this son of a gun. This thing is just made to shoot a lot of stuff. Wow, wow. Look at that turret barrage on the bottom too. Jeez. Yeah. Well, anyway, I will take one of these modules and I'll dock it just to show you how that works too. In case, again, if you're kind of new to this whole module thing, I like this setup. Basically, at the end of the day, what this whole Helios thing is with all its different modules is a kind of like a mobile, expandable space station slash carrier. So it's kind of it's a weird class ship, but I think, you know, for like extended gameplay, you know, with players that really want to get around the galaxy and do a lot of stuff and, you know, hit that end game stuff, and especially Reforged Eden, it's a big game. So, I mean, you're going to acquire a lot of stuff along the way, and this is just a way for you to keep all your stuff together, nice and organized, plenty of production capabilities, farming, basically anything you want to do. And the modules can all, you know, stay below the flight deck, I guess you could say, and you could park any kind of CVs or whatever on the top of the ship or in the hangar. So, yeah. Anyway, let's start with the HAM here. Obviously meant to go probably blow up some POIs, I'm guessing, or get into a little bit of space combat potentially too here. So I just want to see some of the specs here. Take a look at what we've got running for guns. So we've got, oh, these are heavies too. So heavy, 14 heavy laser turrets, 14 heavy cannon turrets, and 14 heavy minigun turrets. So maybe, I'm not sure on the lasers, but I know these other two, I believe, are capable of firing in the atmosphere. Maybe the lasers are. That's just something I do not know at the time. So yeah, sounds like this was meant to go down to the ground and shoot up everything so you can go raid the POIs. Let's take a look inside this one here. Oh, that's cool. Kind of looks like there's some generators there. I wonder if there is. The exit. Oh, the blast door. Oh yeah. Looks like you've got some your basic stuff. Oh, warp core. Okay, so you got stuff separated all over the place. Here's a place for quantum cores and the warp drive. Okay, so it doesn't come stock with the warp drive, but it's a you can add that in, and that's kind of worthwhile on this too. One aspect too. I was always undecided if like a module should have a warp core, and it depends on the module, I suppose. Like something like this, yeah, I could definitely see that, but it's optional, so you don't need to, because essentially the idea would be you would typically warp with the big carrier, which takes all your other stuff with you. So a lot of the modules themselves wouldn't need any kind of warp drive on them. So that's, and a lot of them don't need shields and stuff too. It depends on, you know, what they're for. Like this one's meant to go out on excursions and shoot up stuff. So yes, a shield, warp drive, all that stuff could definitely play very handy with things you might want to do with it. Taking a look at some other specs here. Looks like we've got one 320K storage and 192K storage in here. Look at the, loving these LCDs. Oh, look at that. It's shower. Oh, these are cool. Oh yeah, and that for like medical setup in here. Yeah, it's just really set up for just about everything for going down to a planet. Looks like you got several passenger seats as well. That was just something else I thought would be very helpful. And it looks like we got more storage up here. So we got an 88K there and another 320K over here. So yeah, that's got quite a bit of storage on it too. So that is really, really cool. And then we've got like, I don't know why, but this LCD here for some reason kind of reminds me of the look of the side of these generators a bit. A little different pattern, I suppose, but At first, I thought the generators were back there, and then I'm like, oh no, that's just some cool looking LCDs and parking. Oh, that's sweet. Well, anyway, I'm not going to dock like every module, but I just wanted to show you like a module on how this is set up to work. And I'm going to turn my HUD back on for this. So when you're docking modules to the Helios, again, I've covered this before, but in case you didn't see a lot of the other stuff or know what this is all about or how this works, on the standard module bays and the dropship bay, they all have these LCD guidelines. And basically, in first-person view on these modules, you have to basically line your crosshair up to the center of these guidelines, like this. And then you just, you kind of square it off the best you can, and these will help you kind of position yourself left and right. The further you get in here, you can kind of see if you're off. It's basically guiding you into a very particular point onto the ship. And once you get up to that point, you pretty much, I usually push up a little bit and then just release the all controls, and then the module will dock. Like on this one here, let me, I'm in God mode here, but I'm going to turn on this parking too. I bet you that would probably turn off a lot of stuff that you wouldn't need on. Well, it's just docked to the ship here. In fact, you might be able to turn the whole module off. So then you would like swing down in here and walk through the front of the ship. Oh, I forgot to hit the door too. I originally had these doors on like so they would automatically go up. But then it was so annoying every time you were going in and out of modules with the doors constantly moving that I put in just a hard switch on here so you'd hit it on the inside of the ship to just keep the door open all the time while the module's there. And then one little option inside the ship here too would be to name these bays. Like they're set up, module bay like this is 4, currently docked, is available. So there's 2 LCDs on the top of each bay. One is for doing like this graphics work, and the other is for putting in like the modules. So let's I'm going to modify this one here. ABYSSAL module. So basically you can give it a name, and you can even pick the color, because I left the color palette open on this one, so you can like pick any color you want here. So so that's just something so you know what's docked in your ship when you're going down the main hallway here in it. And that's how they all work. And basically, when you just fly away, all your modules just stay like this. They're accessible from the inside of the ship. You can just walk in and out as you please, and just deal with all kinds of different modules. So that's how they essentially work. Now, the 3 modules I did, obviously one is a production module, and just a quick insight of this. Basically, it has a back engineering area, but you won't really care about that too much. This module is not made to go planet side or do anything but spawn in and pretty much permanently dock to the Helios ship. It has very weak thrusters. So, I mean, if you were to load this up with its cargo, and it's got 8 320K storage containers in it, plus a lot of advanced constructors, 8 of those, and the Reforged Eden version has 2 deconstructors. So plus and 4 small constructors and some cooking stuff and fridges. So basically, it's exactly that. It's a production module. You can't do furnaces on CVs. It's just not allowed. So there's a couple things you can't do with something like this, but most of it you can. And with so many constructors, you can really set up some pretty hardcore ore processing or building of parts or whatever you're doing. So that's an option, and it's just a module that you can bring into the ship and park, and that's about all there is to it. Next module I made is this one is a higher tier miner, the Plutus M2 Module. Now I built the Plutus M1, which is not a module. It's just a CV miner, and I took a lot of the design cues from that. But this is quite a bit larger than the M2 miner, and it's more featured. Um, but it does share the same style drill setup on them, which I really like this. When I built the Plutus M1, I really like this configuration of the drill pattern. For one thing, it allowed me to do a couple neat things. I think the drill radius is quite nice, and it's kind of precise when you're mining something, so you're not getting you're not getting as much rock if I were to spread out the drills more, or even have more drills spread out. And this setup also allowed just enough room, if you did it right and had to seal this off so it's airtight, to allow a first-person view when mining. Now you don't have to, and typically I still don't use the first-person view, but it does work, so it is optional. Now this one here is built of hardened steel. It has a T2 shield. It has a well, it's supposed to have an advanced warp core. I'm not sure if I need to fix that again or not. I think there was some kind of part thing that was messing things up, but I thought I replaced it in this ship already, so I believe it's set up on the workshop just fine. So beyond just being a space miner, which you have to operate from the backside upper cockpit, it also has 4 320K storage bays, 4 advanced constructors. It could easily have a deconstructor, but again, that was a Reforged Eden thing. I made this to work with vanilla and Reforged Eden, so you didn't need like 2 different ships. So 4 advanced constructors and 4 small constructors. These small constructors, for their CPU cost and space that they take up, are pretty efficient, really. For like, you could just set them on mundane tasks like, processing promethium or basic ores, or a lot of times you pick up so much stone while mining, and you can turn that stone into your 3 basic ores, and these small constructors can do it just fine. So you can like turn stone into copper, iron, or silicon, and typically you have a lot of stone around, so you can just keep these running all the time while you're out mining, doing a lot of the production work before you even get back to your ship, which is pretty cool. And then you have your mining cockpit on one side, which I kind of I set up behind a blast door and a bunch of stuff just to keep it. I was worried about chain reactions and things like that, and what happens if your shields go down and one of these drills blows up. So I was told that did happen to someone, and they did not chain react on this. So I wasn't sure if they're going to or not. Now they're all separated between like a hardened steel block on this side, but I was just worried that they would blow up here and just hit the next one. And these blow up big time too. So basically, I've seen it several times before where one of these gets shot, and it will take out the entire front of the ship. And I was worried about that. That's why I put in the blast door and other things in this module. But I've used this in game. I do like it. Pretty good at getting a lot of ore, and it does salvaging too. It does have a salvaging turret right up on the front, and a couple P menu controls to put down like the salvaging and the multi-turret. And then you got mining lights too, so that's another option. But at the end of the day, it is a fairly pricey module, so there is that. But it'll get you a lot of resources quickly, and hopefully keep you safe from pesky drone attacks and stuff. Last module that I made so far, one second, is this Apollo High Gravity Dropship 1 module. And this is meant to go in the back bay on the Helios. It's a larger module. It does come with basically planetary defense weapons. This is made to go down to planets and do your business and bring some vehicles and stuff with you. And it also has a good amount of storage in it. 8 320K cargo systems, a couple open bays if you want to add deconstructors and Reforged Eden. 6 advanced constructors, plus like a full medical setup, your food stuff, armor blocker repair. It does come with a T2 shield. It does have an advanced warp drive in it, or does it? No, I'm sorry. It does not come with the warp drive. That was an optional piece. My bad. Wow, I just built this not long ago either. So basically, in Reforged Eden again, it's got instructions like the Plutus M2 also does on what you would need to put in these ships to make them work for Reforged Eden. Now, because this one also covers vanilla, you don't really need to do nothing to it when you bring it in, but Reforged Eden does require at least this top stuff, and if you start adding more parts, you could put in another advanced core to justify that, such as like the deconstructors, warp drive, and Reforged Eden only opts in this long range radar, and it has a spot to mount that as well. So basically, yeah, that's about it. It's got a couple extra spots for more generators or whatever, so you can configure it the way you want it. And it does have a couple passenger seats here. Maybe I should have added more to this. That already became a problem. But let me dock this one because it's a little bit unique too. Let me get over to the Helios, the back side, which is over here. So this one docks very similar. The biggest problem I've got with this one, it's very, very thrusty. It's got 4 XL lift thrusters made to get down to planet and with your stuff and your goods and get back off planet and deal with planets with much higher gravity than your 1G gravity. Exactly how much gravity I don't know yet, but I'm suspecting that it hopefully should be able to handle any known planet's gravity, even up probably exceeding 4G gravity. Whether it can do that with a full load of stuff, I guess I don't know yet. So on this one, it works a lot like the others, but these you have to line up to one of these. Like I'm on the cockpit here to dock. This is on the left side of the ship, so I'd line up to the crosshairs on the left side here, and something like that, and then you kind of pull in, and usually when you get up to the very edge here, you just kind of pull up a little bit, and if you're a little off, like I'm off here, but you know what, it doesn't really matter that much. So once you dock with this one, of course I'd probably turn off like some of the stuff and the thrusters and whatnot, but after that, it just opens right up to your hull of the ship. And even though I was off a little bit, it still works. So it doesn't really hamper you, even if it's not perfect. Now, one thing to know on this, when you're loading vehicles, you can't obviously load and dock a vehicle on another ship that's docked. So with loading and unloading a module like this, basically what you do is pull this back, just undock it slightly so it no longer considers it docked. Like you might have to just pull back just a little bit like this, and then now you've got this, now there's this little gap here that should not affect you loading HVs or whatever onto here, and then you can dock all the stuff and take off. And same procedure when you come back to the ship, you'd kind of leave it a little bit undocked so you can unload all the stuff and park it back on here. And you can drive those, you can park them right in the center, or you can drive that stuff right across the ship into the front hangar, which has a lot more room for stuff. So that's basically the 3 modules I made. Now, Alicia has made a lot of modules. Obviously, that first one we showed, which is the newest, I believe. Well, we have a planet cargo module. Now, I only brought in the Reforged Eden versions. A lot of these have vanilla versions as well, but they're kind of the same and probably a little bit different CPU configuration. And there's kind of some changes too, because vanilla cannot do solar panels on CVs, where Reforged can. So, and that is an interesting thing. Now, a lot of these modules have solar panels on the top, and they park underneath the flight deck, so you would think, you know, besides the ones that are exposed here, you might think that a lot of these modules, oh, that's not even, that's part of the ship actually. A lot of these modules would not, or the solar panels would not work on top of them, but that's actually not the case. They do work, but it was just kind of brought up that if a ship was like another CV or something was parked above the module, that it does seem to block the light, but the actual flight deck that looks like it absolutely blocks the light doesn't block the light, and the solar panels still work. So it's a little goofy for sure. So yeah. Anyway, so this one here, the cargo module, this basically is certainly meant to haul a lot of cargo or store a lot of cargo. Now, by looking at the thrusters on here, it does have a couple pretty meaty thrusters. Actually, 4 pretty meaty thrusters. So yeah, it looks like you could go down to some planets with this as well. And bring up a lot of goods with you. So let's see. I'm just kind of taking a look at all these big cargo modules, and they're everywhere. Wow. Geez. What the exact count is? Let me take a look in the menu here. Planet cargo. Wow, look at all these container controllers. Can't imagine all of these are they? Wow. Yeah, this thing's got storage, a lot of storage on it. Wow. Okay, so what are we looking at? Like 16 storage containers. I noticed at least one I've seen isn't 320, but it looks like all of them, all the other ones I'm pulling up are, which is, yeah, that's a huge amount of storage. So yeah, this is kind of what the Helios was about, though. It's, you know, if you need more storage, you bring in a storage module and you can park it to your ship, and you've got storage for days, and you're bringing it with you. Of course, the Helios needs enough thrust power to move all that in space, and that's where adding like those extra XL forward thrusters come into play, which need more CPU and more generation power to make them work right. So basically, yeah, it's stuff you would need to do to upgrade the Helios to get it to move with a lot more weight. And then its maximum capacity, it would have 10 XL forward thrusters on it, and that can move a lot. Now, could you weigh it down so much that you couldn't hit warp speed? Even with that, probably. But you would have to have a lot on the ship, a lot, I think, to stop that from working. So the next module here is the Heliosurvival Module, again by Elysia. In fact, this whole row is by Elysia. So this one, yeah, again, a lot of these modules have some really neat LCDs and stuff like that. I probably came in through a funky way here. It's just, yeah, this is just an open corridor. It just looks like there's a door there because of the LCD, which is cool. I dig that. And look at the neat engineering icons. So all of her modules, she left instructions in there too on things to know about the module, which is really cool. Definitely check those out if you get these modules. Now this one here looks like it does repairing, so you could repair HVs and SVs. You can't actually repair CVs from other CVs, which that kind of sucks. I kind of wish you could, but yeah, and check out this. You can name your constructors, and so yeah, this one's just really set up for good general purpose everything, really. Yeah, really cool setup here. Get a lot of processing stuff done. Yeah, teleporter. Yeah, a lot of different functionality here. So yeah, teleporter could come in handy too. 18. No, that's not an ATM. That's just Echo. Okay. Yeah, there's a base ATM that actually works, but you can't put that on CVs either. That's another one of those things that does not, for whatever reason, it's restricted from using on a CV. I'm not exactly sure why sometimes, but I understand that they want you to have purpose for a base. The biggest problem with this big galaxy is getting back and forth to your bases, which you can't just like get back there easily, especially with your cargo and your ships. You kind of have to manually warp back. Now you can teleport to a certain range of something with a teleporter, but that only moves your person, and your person can't carry much stuff, nor your ships or anything. So it's kind of why something like this was created, and why I don't have a big focus on planet bases right now, because of the vastness of space, and getting back to planet bases, which are going to have more gravity as well. The logistics of that is kind of rough, where it kind of tethers you to the area around it, and if you try to go too far away, it's too expensive and too time consuming to come back, I guess you could say, unless you got some really good warp drives, which do exist now. So as a just a off the topic thought, I was thinking that a really neat game feature could be like a summonable wormhole in space. In other words, it would act like a town portal. Can you imagine going out into space and you're like 700 light years away from your home base, and you want to get back to your home base? So you put one of these wormholes in, and it's kind of like somehow linked to your home base, and it's like a big town portal that you can just fly your ship into, and it brings you, your ship, your goods, and everything, and you're right back to where to home, and then you can turn around and jump back through that same wormhole and end up right where you left off at. So it'd be a way to like bring everything back to your base, have a need for a base, and not have the annoyance of trying to get back to your base or being tethered to your base. So you could still go out and do everything as normal, but you could just get back there when you wanted to. You could even be some kind of fee for that. But it was just an idea that I was thinking of. I don't know how hard that would be to do or not, but just an option. So this one here is the Helios-MSC Module. And this one basically just kind of like a space to put in whatever you want. Spawn it in, customize it to your likings with whatever equipment or functionality you want on it, and call it a day. And that is really cool. And because of that, I believe this one would be a lot cheaper than a lot of the other ones. Cost-wise, there's still some of this stuff still takes some stuff. The thrusters and whatnot on these do take up some or do cost something. So that's what that one's all about. Next one is the Helios Garden Module, and this is quite a large garden module. A lot of grow plots. So if you're into growing and stuff, I think right now, yeah, the lights are off. I know all these lights are switchable for turn on your garden plots here. I think they're right over here. Turn on a couple of these here, but it has 2 floors to it. Each of them are full of farm plots, grow plots, and total on the ship is 288 grow plots. So yeah, huge amount of growing capabilities here, which is really, really cool. And then you've got your food processors and fridges and everything else on the side here to deal with that as well. So basically a lot of growing. So another nice feature, and yeah, something I'd like to get into in my own gameplay sometime is growing plots, even though I'm told I don't want to, like literally every time I mention it, but I don't agree with that. The next one is the Helios Faction Module. Again, by Alicia. This one is just it's another user's guide. Use survival cells, support anything you need. Accept furnaces. Yep. LCD manual. Yeah, basically, it's pretty cool. It just gives you a bunch of like capability and a little customizing and whatever you really want to do with this one. Um, Constructors Storage. Yeah, let's see. We got our second floor up here. Look at this. Oh, big medical bay. Big medical bay. Armor lockers. Stuff. Little lounge-like area. Sitting area. Survival. like, oh, that's cool. Yep. So yeah, this thing's like kind of a little more like does some office management, sleeping quarters, living room, fridges. Basically, it's like a player base that you can move around and slap down on a planet or something. I was just check it out. It's lift thrusters. Looks like we've got some lift. Yeah, quite a bit of lift thrusters. I mean, would it work on high gravity? I don't know, maybe. Probably without a load. But no, that is cool. That is cool. Kind of get set up, bring all your stuff down to planet, and do your thing. So this one is a fairly new one here. The next one, the Helios Club Module. So this one is not really designed for any specific like gameplay function, but this is a, well, like it says, it is a club. So it's like a nightclub, a place to escape. You know, when you're on a hard day work on the Helios, doing all your stuff, you can go check out a club, and then the dancing girls and the restaurant stuff up top here, and the bar, and yeah, look at all this. This is really cool. So this is like, you know, if you really want to get immersed in your game, having more modules like this and stuff, I think is really cool. Kind of a little variety. Not everything has to be hardcore game function. You could enjoy stuff a little bit, just walking around looking at stuff, and or have a meeting with your buddies in the lounge about what your next plan of operation is going to be. So that is slick. Now all these are in that Helios MSC module collection. So do check that out if you want to find the modules. It's the easiest way to do it. Not all of them are named Helios. It was brought up in some comments that every module should start with the name Helios. And I couldn't really control that. Modules started coming in named on the workshop before I really even thought about a naming scheme for them. And I named my first module Helios something or other. And then I was like, well, that's getting kind of old and it's getting kind of confusing because now there's this kind of module and that kind of module, and what do all these initials mean? So I figured the easiest way at this point would be just have a collection so you could find all the compatible modules in one place. And every one I know about, I've got there. If I don't know about it right now or I missed it, then it wouldn't be there, and that is possible. But I think I got them all. But let me know in the comments if I didn't, please. I will do another one of these videos when there's you know, enough more modules and things to show. So then the next one beyond the club module is the drill module, and this would be a mining one. I haven't yet been in this one myself, so this is the first time checking this out. I do like these big glass ceilings on so many of these. Oh, that looks really cool. Like that pattern and the red stripe there. That's slick. So yeah, this one's got a shield obviously here. What kind of shield are we looking at here? It does have some flak turrets. Oh, 20 drill module or laser drills on this one. So this one's quite a bit. The Plutus M2 only has 12. So this one's a little bit got some more drill stuff here, and it's an asymmetrical design too, which I think is really cool. So you've got like a piloting cockpit here. Then you obviously have your drill modules. Let me hop into the devices. Drilling. Yeah, let's turn that on. Oh wow. Oh, what's up with the? Oh, look at the red lines. So that's like even though I'm not drilling right now, it's showing you guide markers on where those drills actually are going to through the use of LCDs. And that's all kind of like in that area, so you don't actually get to the drills, which is good because if that blows up, it keep you separated and alive, which is a pretty slick idea. And yeah, I'd imagine, okay, so we got warp, we've got our power generators. Yeah, I can imagine the 20 drills would take some pretty big generation power. Wi-Fi, gravity, shield, passenger seats, your docking port again on this side. Constructor there. Let's see, let me take a look in the cargo menu here. Drill modules, so we got 1 320, 2 320, 3 320, and 320k ammo. So basically 4 320k storage. 2 of those are harvest controllers, one's regular and one's ammo. So you could get a lot done with this. That is really cool. I'll have to test this out on mining. But yeah, it's kind of neat seeing exactly where your drills will go before you even fire them. And look at that. Yep, very cool, very cool. So again, like all these other modules, oh man, I can't even like level off. My goodness, I suck. All right, there we go, level off. So that is slick and an interesting idea with the LCD lasers. I gotta see how those were concocted. Don't mind me here. What am I doing? Devices, access. Yeah, so there's a way to make LCDs go well beyond the limits of what the LCD normally can do, and it's doing that for these lasers. I gotta at some point in time decipher these codes. And what the heck is this command? Alpha? I don't even know what that is. Yeah, so there's some more LCD commands I was unfamiliar with before. Thought there's only the few, but yeah, like alpha, I'm not sure what that is, and I know there's a rotate one, which has got me kind of excited too. When I get around to doing some LCDs again, I'll have to mess with that. But yeah, very, very cool. So that is all of Alicia's current modules on the workshop and in the collection. And most of these, if not all of these, I think have a vanilla version as well. Obviously, all these, because of their use of solar panel, kind of bans them from working in vanilla. And I ran into the same problem on the first module I made, the Helios P module, where I had to put out 2 versions, one with solar, one without solar, so you could use it in vanilla. So next one here, we have another mining barge here, and this one is by Rooster Rob, and this is another CV miner. This one's running a 8 drill configuration. Really cool design. Like how the drills kind of fit in there. It's got defense for drones. Looks like it has another way in over here. Besides, of course, the front. Then you got some nice production room over here. Looks like a couple 320k. Oh, see, put a few. So you got about 296k ones and 320k storage. Advanced constructor, small constructor, armor locker, detector. Detector is a big one you'd want on a miner for sure. And then you go upstairs. You've got your pilot / docking seat, and it looks like Wi-Fi. And yeah, that is really cool. So this another alternative miner. So there's 3 different miners now that all work in the docking modules. This was probably the first one done. Really, really cool design. I do like that a lot. So yeah, Yep, you got that as an option too. And I almost like, oh man, I didn't realize there's so many miners. I was trying to, even with the stuff I was trying to do, I was trying to be like a little unique. That's why, I decided, I don't need to do a farm module or some of these other modules because they're already done. Um, However, eventually I'll probably try to create like one of most kinds of modules anyway, just to say I did. But yeah, right now I don't really have any plans on doing any of that. Besides possibly a starter CV module. So now we've got this is a heavy lift. I believe this is a standard size module. Yeah, I think this is a standard size module. And, okay, yep. This one's basically, how does this work? Here, let me just, I guess for some reason I'm not quite as familiar. It's a big ship. Okay, so we got our front cockpit here for docking. So I gotta assume it, since it's centered, this would be a normal module bay and not the dropship module bay. But then it has this, there's a big generator area here. Do I not have any power? I don't have any power. Warp, shield, and then you got this big back. So you could probably load up like some vehicles or something in here too, and bring that down to a planet, as well as your cargo and storage and things like that. So you got looks like 2 300. No, well, I better check with the P menu here. So we've got looks like 2 320s there, harvest 320, ammo 200k, another ammo 168k, another harvest 320. So yeah, a lot of storage on this one here. Plus some room to actually put in HV or SVs, or utility vehicles to go down to the planet with. That is really cool. Yeah, so it's got some really beefy thrust on here too. So it looks like those are some XL thrusters there, plus some more thrusters. So I wouldn't doubt if there's a power mode, because you probably wouldn't want those XLs on when trying to dock this to the Helios. And yeah, that's exactly it. Upward lift 1XL. Okay, so you can shut those off and back on. Optional gravity. Yeah, this is very cool. And this is by why do you want to know? So this is it's really cool. I like the color scheming and stuff too. I like the diversity in the modules. Like some of them, like the ones I made, are kind of like trying to match the Helios, but a lot of these are like their own thing, and I think that's really cool because they all look like they're different brands of modules, and I like that variety a lot actually. Next one here is D1 Dropship Helios. Now this one I believe is a standard module though. So basically you can tell by the centered cockpit. The dropship ones would have a off-centered cockpit on them, and typically larger, like the next one that are on the list here. So this one is basically so you can use a standard module port as a dropship, and you can actually roll vehicles through a reduced size door, but a lot of things will fit through here, and gives you quite a lot of docking room. And then you can go down to the planet, unload your stuff, get to business. Looks like carry a lot of passengers with you, and then have some utility and function in here too, as fridges and med station, O2, armor locker. Let's see. Take a look at the storage on here. Looks like quite a few different storage units. Helios heavy lift pod. Yes, okay. Wait, is that the one I'm on? No, this is the D1. Whoops. D1. So this one has looks like we got about 150k container controller, cargo pallets, 150K ammunition controller. And a few, yeah, different cargo boxes and things like that. Large fridge. No, it's really cool. So another optional module. This one, yeah, you can bring down more stuff without using the dropship bay. So yeah, and this one is by Rooster Rob. Who also made that one over there, and I believe this one here too. So. Yep, Rooster Rob. So this one here is a dropship module. So the rear port. So you'd be in one of these two side docking bays. This was kind of essential to make this kind of module work because the center had to be an open hangar door. So you couldn't put the pilot seat there. It just would interfere with it. So this one, very slick. I love the animated LCD. Work on the floor. That's pretty cool. I've seen him use this on another creation too. I believe it was a Scar lifter mod. God, I'm trying to think of the name of what I call this. The sky something or other is what I made. And he made another one, something like that, was made to move HVs down to the planet's surface, and it had this kind of animated LCD technology in there too, which I thought was pretty slick. So this one's big open cargo module or hangar, essentially, to bring stuff down to the planet and back up with you. So basically the same function as the one that I did as well. And this one's got like all the parts built in here. Oh, that's actually glass windows out there. Fuel. Oh yeah. Just checking out all the information. Full power mode. Oh, it's very cool. And a lot of room in here to park a lot of stuff. Taking a look at some the storage on this one. About 150K ammo, 150K regular storage, and some cargo boxes and things. So yeah, awesome way to get stuff down to the planet. Taking a look at its lift thrust, pretty beefy. Well, it's decent. It's running two large thrusters, so but this one doesn't have like huge amounts of cargo in it, so it's more to the point of getting ships down to vehicles down to the planet. So, and that will mount up in that rear bay, obviously. So, and does have some solar usage too. Now that's something mine didn't do, is any solar on it. I thought about it a little bit, but then I was gonna force like a double build again, like two releases, and I honestly didn't really want the hassle of it. So next one here, this one here is a G2 Defense. This is made to go in those ports in between the other ports. This is also by Rooster Rob. And basically, it's like a deployable sensory defense to be just left out in space. Basically, like if you're going to park the Helios in a zone that has hostility, you could have some of these, and you could pull those out from the ship and kind of park them in the area, which would shoot at like incoming things, drones or even enemy CVs if they happen to come over your way. So that's what this is about. Now these are kind of rough to construct, I will admit, and it's not the author's fault. It's my design fault on the Helios. So let me get over here a second. Now these aren't made to be fast or anything like that, and I wouldn't suggest there would be any good reason to make it fast. Let me pull up to one of these in between bays here, show you how these kind of dock. And they're not quite as like foolproof as docking as the regular modules. And you know, part of my problem with these smaller bays beyond the width, which is pretty constrictive because you got to leave like block spaces on each side of the ship or it won't dock either nicely, is the fact that there's that lower bar on these two, which kind of prevents these from being taller and lining the door up to the inside of the ship. Let's see. I'm not sure if this is actually designed to work with. I think when this was built too, I didn't even have LCD indicators here where you're supposed to fly, so I might have to actually do this one in third person here. Yeah, I think I'm in all right now. Let me straighten out. And these can only pull in so far because of that bar thing on the back too. So it's a little wonky. Again, that's my fault too. I know this goes in further than it is, so I'm not sure what I'm hung up on. Yeah, I know this goes in a lot further. Let me try this again. Just go down a little bit. Center, yeah. There you go. Oh. See, a lot of the problem is that bar on the bottom side of these bays too. It just does make it extra difficult to get these in there. That's kind of why I wish I kind of didn't do this setup like this. It's kind of like after the fact now. But yeah, I'm struggling on this. It's probably like wedged in between that bar on both sides. There we go. Broke free now. So once you're actually in, this does dock, and it's set up actually so you can get up here too, which is pretty interesting. I'm wondering kind of. I think what the deal is well, it does have a whole block roll there. It's a tight fit though. It's a tight fit flying in. I wasn't masterful at doing this, but yeah. So you can pop these in here and you can deploy these out into space if you're gonna like park somewhere for a while. I guess you could take these out on excursions, but they don't have much thrust. Which would have been kind of a waste for what they are. They're not really like some kind of combat CUV you're going to be flying around shooting stuff up with, or just sit there and shoot whatever's in the immediate area that's hostile. So, alright, so moving on to the next one. This one here is by Garaman. This is a 320K cargo rack, and this one was designed a little different than the other modules in the fact that it's open air, and it's very industrial looking, and I definitely think it looks really awesome mounted up to the Helios. In fact, I'm going to mount one of these up to the Helios. Now we've been using this one a lot because if it's just straight up massive cargo capabilities. And that's really useful for a lot of in-game stuff. So I'm gonna go find a module bay here, and we'll pop this puppy in. And, oh, there, I'll just leave you out for now, I guess. Typically, I would turn these off, but kind of see how this lines up on the inside here. And like with every one of these modules too, it's just it's neat. I like the fun factor of like naming them too. Like I'd go up here and change the name of this module bay port. Probably I'd probably turn off the thrusters and stuff too. But from the bottom side of the ship, you can kind of see how these modules kind of fit in there. And it kind of just brings everything with you, but you get that variety of whatever module is parked in there on kind of messes with the hull of the ship. Just the ship gets a little bit bigger. Like the module I made too it's pretty big, and it actually kind of sticks out the back a little bit. But I did that because I just wanted more space, and there's no restrictions really on how long it can be. I could have made it a little shorter where it tucked in under there, but I don't think it looks bad seeing that extra stuff there either. So there is that. So yeah, I know that's another very slick, useful module. Just straight up hardcore storage, which is definitely needed in a game like Empyrion, especially now. Um, with so much stuff, you got a lot of stuff to store that you'll accumulate through time, and there you go. And like I think in our current thing, we have a 6-bay module that was modded by Garaman. Um, and did a really awesome job with that. But yeah, we actually, I think we have 2 of these. So that's like 4,320K storage right there with those 2 modules, plus a production module, plus a farm module, plus a mining module. So yeah, we're getting a lot of stuff. It's expensive stuff, but it's like it truly is kind of like end game for all. This whole thing is set up for mobility as opposed to having a base. Um, However, bases, well, on the next creation here, this one is pretty slick. Now, this is a base or a space station, and this one is by uh, J. Drafton, and it's a size class 7 base. And basically, it's designed to dock Helios modules to it, or these Helios, quite a few of them. In fact, I think 9 of them. Plus, it's solar powered. Um, and then let's see. Let's go check out the base here. So we hop in here. Wait, I'm probably not going in the right area here. Oh yeah, probably right down here. Duh. So yeah, that would get you to all the different module bays there, and then you can go up to this top area, which has a whole bunch of production and function stuff. A little place to sit, med bay. Because it's a base, you can put in furnaces, so that's a thing. Furnaces, ATM, and if you're playing in vanilla, it allows deconstructors in bases. If you're playing in Reforged, you can do that on CBs though too. Um, and yeah, let's see what we've got for storage on the main base itself. Even though it probably doesn't matter because most of the storage would be. Oh wow, this is all kind of set up for all the different. You put your iron here. Okay, that's cool. Put controllers. We got a 320, 320, 320, 320. So at least 4 320s plus all these other container boxes and things like that. It looks like these are probably just normal size cargo boxes or 16K storage a piece in those. So, but yeah, 9 modules that can be dock up to this. In fact, let me take a module somewhere and we'll dock one up. Well, how about you? Let's see here. Oh yeah, this thing's got some big. Yeah, I got the same thing with my one module there. The lift thrust is crazy insane, but that's needed for the high gravity planets. So when you go up a little bit, you go up a lot of it. Unless you got a load on you. So let's see, it'll be balance. Oh, there we go. Wonder if it's getting. Oh, take a look outside here. Oh, yeah, that's kind of guiding me in at the wrong spot, I'm thinking. Yeah, kind of up there. Or is it this module? Hold up a second. Just want to kind of check this out. Let me take a look here. Let me grab a different module. Yeah, the docking clamps are over here though. That's the thing. It's doesn't look like it's lined up. Yeah, all this is lined up great here. So yeah, it's not the bays. These LCDs are set right, I believe. It's but uh, these uh, these are kind of in a fixed position on all these different modules, and it doesn't look like there's any backing wall blocks over here to have these successfully dock. So it's just kind of parked there. But you know, I guess it doesn't matter. It's a base, so you don't need to dock it to the base because the base doesn't move. So I mean that's a thing. But yeah, that's I think if you did want it to dock, it would need a block row coming up like this in these areas on these bays here, um, to catch that. But it doesn't need it because there's actually no practical purpose or advantage to having it officially docked versus just parked there because there's, you know, like I said, if this was a CV and it moved, yes, but it doesn't. So yeah, it can just kind of sit there. But yeah, I think that would be a thing. But other than that, yeah, no, it lines up great. And yeah, so then I assume you would get out of the ship once you dock one of these, and you got a walk path that will head you right up to there. You head straight into the central area, and just a lot of places to park stuff. Oh wait a minute. Now I'm seeing like these over here that looks like they would be for the docking clamps. Hold on. Let me do one other test here. Let me grab one other module. Um, like the Helios, when you dock on the Helios, it has a solid wall there, so it seriously doesn't matter really where you have the location of these docking clamps here. But I think they're all pretty much in the same spot across the board. I think. Oh, I see. On my modules, I have these up higher. Again, it doesn't matter on the Helios, but it might matter on this creation. So let me grab this one here a minute, and oh, get upstairs. I think that might be the case too. It kind of looks like those areas that are in orange there are set up for these docking clamps. It's just um, doesn't align necessarily if there's a little bit different configuration because it doesn't have the solid wall there. Huh. No, I don't seem to be docking with this one either. Certainly looks. Oh, did I dock? Did I just not hear the sound? It looks like it would be docked because there's the docking. There's the docking pads. Did I just miss it? I actually docked and don't realize it. Yeah, it says I'm not docked for some reason. Oh, duh. I'm an idiot. Yeah, because CVs don't actually dock to bases. Duh. I keep on looking for them to dock, and they don't tactically dock to bases. They just sit there. So, you know, it honestly doesn't matter about any of the docking clamps. As long as you park it there and the door lines up, you're good to go. I keep forgetting about that. I expect them to make that docking uh, sound, but then when you think about it, what would be the point of it actually docking to a base? Because the base doesn't move and nothing changes really. So, yeah, CVs don't dock to bases. They can land on them. The landing gear come down. Looks like it's landed just fine, but they don't make that docking sound and that docking connection. Um, that's just native on how it works, and I can see why because there's not really any point in it. Um, all right. Well, anyway, this is really cool. It gets you a lot of different module bays in there. So it really doesn't matter with these modules on where the windows are or how the front docking clamps are set up on a base, because it doesn't really need it. It doesn't matter on the Helios either, because it's just got a wall there, so they could, as long as the docking clamps are somewhere that touch that wall, you're good to go. So okay, so the last one here. This is a CV. Carrier type CV that does module supports. Again, so yeah, this is a big one here. So we've got looks like we've got, what is it, 8 module bays on here, I would say. Oh, this CV. Oh yeah, this thing does some drilling itself. Oh, quite a bit. Oh wow, another set of. Wait a minute. No, these are weapons here, aren't they? Oh, I have a multi-tool. Yes. Yeah, heavy laser cannons. So this is kind of like a carrier combat module ship. And yeah, it definitely looks like so you got a lot of carrier space on the top side. It looks like 8 module bays on the sides. Oh, quite a large hangar out on the bottom area. And I'm curious on this. It looks like you've got see, HV ramp up. So yeah, so you could drive HVs up here. Get you to the it gets you to the top side of the ship. So you could actually take your HVs and park it on the flight deck from the hangar. That's cool. That is really cool. And then I'm looking at this huge amount of broadside weaponry here. It kind of looks like that's how you would probably engage. Well, not necessarily. A lot of defense on the side there, but then you've got your main guns on the front here that could you'd want to be aiming at your target this way. Viral Gamer, and yeah, obviously this is by Viral Gamer. And no, that is slick. Gotta go dock something to it here, man. Yeah, let's dropship one. Let's just go dock you. So it's kind of neat. This whole module and bay idea is really slick, and I noticed some other authors and stuff doing like different module setups too. God, I'm trying to think of people's names. There's another prominent one that has it's a smaller, basically like a smaller like Helios type of setup. It's the modules are smaller, the ship is smaller. But it has the same idea where you dock multiple modules, give the ship a lot more function. I'm sure it's a lot less money. Oh, okay. So on this one here, I believe these deco blocks right here would. Whoops. I remove the blocks below it. Yeah, I better pull this back. I think these are completely screwing up the docking on here, because it's kind of like that area that doesn't allow it to move through here. There's my get up here. I'm gonna just pull this back a little bit here a second. Yeah, this stuff looks neat, but yeah, these module bays just cannot have any obstructions on them whatsoever. I originally with the Helios and those guide things, I had the LCDs on the top side of the bay, and just those little projector LCDs was causing it lots of issues too. So just basically whatever's going on, this has to remain a 100% flat surface. Otherwise it'll just not let you pull up to where you need to pull up to. Yeah, now we dock just fine. So that's kind of the deal. Just oh, I think I centered there, or maybe I was supposed to be up another block row. Hold on, I think I just. Should I be here? Oh, I can't dock from there though. Oh, I guess I can. Let's see, how did that work out? So then we kind of line up here. Yeah, well, this particular module, because of its nature of loading vehicles on there, these blocks here would probably also kind of get in the way of that one. But this is a very specific module. It wouldn't be a problem with I think the rest of the modules. So there, yeah. Other than that, yeah, but very cool, very cool. And yeah, these hangar doors up here and this ramp thing. Now that's scary. Can you imagine a road? Like if you're driving on a road and it had that kind of angle to it, that would kind of freak me out. But no, but very cool, very cool design. And yeah, it looks like yeah, you could take this into some nastiness, and it's a big ship. Move a lot of stuff with it here too, and some pretty good forward thrust on there too. So anyway, that's kind of where everything's at with the modules right now, and there'll probably be more module type stuff out there. I gotta get a hold of Garaman. I would like to see how that 6-bay Helios that we're using. I don't think he had that on the workshop. I'll ask him if he wants to put it there. I'd love to add it to the Helios collection as the 6-bay version. I don't want to do it myself. I don't want to modify the existing ships. I don't want to release another Helios under my name. Well, another Helios main ship like this, unless it was drastically different. I can't justify it by just doing like copy paste and putting it back up there. And then there's two versions of the ship, and you know, with the solar panels and without the solar panels for vanilla and Reforged Eden and all the other stuff. And it's just like, yeah, I don't really want to do it myself. I mean, I kind of wish I would have done just the 6-bay module at this point, but what's done is done, and I can't like go change it. And there's parts built for it that dock in there. So yeah, I can't modify that. But yeah, the modded 6-bay version I think is a great idea. I heard there was an 8-bay version of this, which would actually have to be physically longer, I believe. So that would probably be a higher size class ship. Where going to a 6-bay and getting rid of these bays I don't really think it affects the size class or the size of the ship or the cost of the ship. It really doesn't affect anything. It's just a slightly different configuration in the same space that's there. But that's pretty much everything I've got for today. One last thing before I go. I know this video is a little longer than normal, but I'll just show you a little bit. I didn't get very much done on this Kriel warship that I've been working on, but I did start in on getting the interior laid out. Have a couple little squabbles, I guess, that's been kind of like making me a little annoyed, I guess, at doing the inside of the ship. Like, obviously, and it really has to do with this one. This is a combat rolled ship built for Reforged Eden, so it is quite specific. And in the rule set now with Reforged Eden, on how explosion damage works, is you have to seal off all your internal parts, like warp cores and generators and fuel tanks and shields and all this different stuff. And something that's been kind of like bugging me when I'm building this ship is, like, I had a completely different idea for what I wanted the inside to be like, and all alien like and Kriel like, and kind of I was gonna try to push that weird design a little bit more. And then I realized that because of all the part sealing and stuff that I'm having to do, and all the extra weight I got to add to do that inside the ship. I just can't do the design I wanted to, because it's so required on sealing everything up like a tin can that I can't do the aesthetics I would like to do in here. So, but it's a warship in that role, so I got to seal all these parts, so you don't have any chain reactions. Um, so and that's kind of what I'm doing. So I'm like sealing the generators and sealing this and burying the. I got to finish this up, but I'm burying the warp core in a glass structure. I'm gonna have to. Oh, this isn't like the latest version of the ship I've got. I must have not saved that. I did actually glass over all this stuff already too, um, in the version. Um, and I gotta spread things out. And one side effect too, because of all this stuff that I'm adding here. Obviously, this is combat steel. It's heavy. I'm adding a lot of weight to the ship in the process. It's gonna make it go slower. Um, I could lose a third of the weight by going to Xeno, but then the ship would look hideous. And I just refuse to do that. So I'm kind of like, this is probably the last combat ship I build for Reforged Eden. I don't this rule set and what you need to do to the ships to have them battle capable is really terrible for aesthetics, weight, and looks. And I don't want to do any more. On the outside of the ship, I really, I like the outside of the ship. I like this new color scheme. I'm really pleased with it. I just feel that trying to meet the ever-changing specs of Reforged Eden, combat stuff, like the explodey thing, that's a new thing, um, is like, it's, and if you do it right, like a ship in this category probably should be built to Xeno. It would be more efficient. It would gain a lot of speed and power because it was Xeno, and it would look like something out of Minecraft. And I hate that, and I don't want to do that. So I will leave, after I build this one, I will leave combat ships for Reforged Eden up to other authors to make. I kind of refuse to do any of these. I don't like the rule set. I don't like what the compromises you have to do in order to achieve that class of ship and its looks, and I don't want to fill them up with 40 blocks of Xeno on the front, and I don't want to build that kind of thing. To me, it seems like it's going back in time. It's like it just reminds you of something you do on a very, I don't know. But then again, I understand why, because there's big challenges in Reforged Eden, and that's driving motivation in the game to keep on getting beefier and beefier ships. My biggest issue though is this exploding thing. I think it's going a little bit too far, and Xenoblocks. The texturing on them is terrible, and you just can't expect authors with a straight face that want to make something that looks nice to build their ship out of Xeno, because it's going to destroy it. And I wish Xeno didn't exist in the game at this point in time. Either that or something's got to change with that texture set with it, because it's terrible. I don't mind the idea of Xenoblocks. You got to manually salvage POIs to get them, which is fine. I mean, if you're gonna do the work, you can get the advantage of the Xenoblocks. If only it would match like the textures of like the other thing, and then I could just convert this over to Xeno. I could lose a third of the weight. I could quit griping about how heavy it's going to be with all this part sealing, and I would like the ship. But right now I feel like, because I'm trying to make it work with Reforged Eden, I'm killing the ship. And in the end, even though I very much like how it looks and everything, I may not like the ship because of these rule sets, and the penalty, because it's not Xeno, and it doesn't. So that's just something else I wanted to bring up that I think is problematic right now, and and that's why I'm not going to build another one of these combat ships. I don't want to build really anything out of Xeno. And yeah, this explodey part thing is terrible for like interiors and looks. So like everything about it just makes like go back 10 years in time with voxel building, and that's what you end up with. And the rules are forcing people to do that to have endgame ships or tough combat oriented endgame ships in Reforged Eden. It's not the case in vanilla. So it's just something I wanted to point out. There's one last thing I'd like to point out too, and it's this is hurting me a lot and causing me not really want to build like a whole bunch of different classes of things that I used to like to build. And that is like SVs. SVs. Obviously, I built a lot of SVs in the past. I had the whole Merc thing and the transits, and right now I haven't released the SV to the workshop in a long time. I don't have any plans to build any new ones because I find them virtually worthless in the game, especially in Reforged Eden. There's no point. I mean, besides an early game Scout SV or a SV Miner. An SV Miner, just like a HV Miner, has to be so specific with how its drills are to work optimally that you really can't do anything with that either. It's a box with 6 drills on the front of it or something like that. And so yeah, I'm really finding it pointless to have SVs especially, and it was one of my favorite types of creations to do, and I had to just virtually abandon SVs. So I'd really like if there was some reason to have an SV again, because combat wise they can't hold up, not in Reforged Eden. I've tried two Scar SVs, both kind of like a different weapon setup. My goal with both of them was trying to make a SV compete with a tank. So you didn't have to just have a tank if you're gonna, attack POIs. You could do it with an SV too. But literally, because of the amount of CPU they take, the amount of firepower you can get on them versus the amount of thrust, their weakened armor, their weakened shields, the fact that there is no cover in the air, you can't hide behind rocks or trees or dodge stuff very well. They're a powder keg, and they would cost a lot of money. They get shot down so darn easily. You can't really escape stuff. If you lose some of your thrust power and can't hit max speed, despite trying to make it tough, everything's going to hit you. And they hit you so hard that you could have 100% shield, and then like a second later, you have no shield, and you're already blowing up. And I think something needs to be addressed with that, because I don't like it, and I don't like the fact that it's like I don't want to build any SVs anymore. Honestly, I'm not even all that interested in building HVs anymore, because I realize now that, especially again in Reforged Eden, why not just attack POIs with CVs? It's much better and easier way to do it. I wouldn't necessarily would say it would be cheaper. It'd be cheaper because you would probably hardly take any damage back if you build a proper SV or CV for it. And then another issue with the Galaxy and the fact that there is no way to get around nicely between bases and being somewhere out far away in the Galaxy, that I also found bases kind of worthless. So that's like 3 of the 4 categories of building in Reforged Eden I find are virtually worthless at this point in time. So I don't know how you guys feel or about this. I mean, I'm sure you can find some uses for this stuff. I mean, you can make storage SVs or something, but even on that note there, to build a storage SV that can move a piddly amount of storage in comparison to a CV versus its cost, you're better off with the CV. By a long shot. Like I built those transit ships, like the CH5, that can do I think that could do 64K storage, and it takes like quite a bit to build. But I could build a CV that I think has half the build time, has 4 times the storage, and it's cheaper. So why in the heck would I want an SV to do it or an HV to do it? There's literally no point to these things anymore, and they just kind of got like phased out. Now it's all about only building CVs really, besides very early game starter stuff, and then you're done. So I feel like that's just I love what Reforged is doing with the huge end game and all the other stuff going on, but at the end of the day, it's kind of destroying so much of what the game was about, with all these other creations that literally are pretty much useless now. That it's like that hurts. That really hurts us builders. I mean, I would love to build an SV. I like to build SVs. They're one of my favorite things to build. But I got no reason to build SV because they're just worthless, all of them. I mean, I can't literally think of anything that I would want. I tried 2 different weapon combinations in hopes that I could make an SV do something worthwhile. And and that was the Scar, Venom, and DFA. And for their price, I would absolutely go with an HV tank over them, for that role. And for that price, I would absolutely probably go with a combat, ground-oriented CV instead of the HV tank. And that's all on the rule set. So that's kind of how I feel about that, and I hope something can be done about these couple issues. But other than that is pretty much all I got for today. Awesome work on the modules, everyone. Really cool stuff. And we'll see what we see in the future with module development and other module types and sizes and ships. And I think it's kind of a neat idea, especially with the full galaxy now. That's kind of what drove this in the first place. If it was just a solar system like it used to be, you wouldn't need something like this, because you're never that far away. But now you can be huge distances away, and that's very expensive with the pentaxid. Not everybody has 600 light year warp cores, so it's problematic. And that's why the ship was made and all this module stuff was made. All right, well, hey, you guys have a good weekend, and I will talk to you later.